Yo, what's up guys? I'm Grandmaster Shaman and welcome back to Flower Paradise, and today we have episode 5 of our Sakura Gamer 2 Adventure of a Lifetime. If you guys did miss any of the previous 4 episodes, I'd highly recommend going back and checking that out because you'll have no idea what the fuck is going on if you don't, so that would be very, very unfortunate. But if you guys are hyped, make sure you guys hit that like button down below for me because you already know your support's greatly appreciated, as well as leaving a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the series to this point. I really love hearing from you guys. Comments are so very important. But without further ado, we're just going to get right on into it. Looks like old Granny Dearest very well could potentially make her way to the convention, which would be very, very interesting. I wake the next day with a pounding headache. I'm not sure why, but my brain feels leaden, and each step makes it bash against my skull. The sunlight steaming through the window burns, and I hiss like a vampire. I do that every morning. Clover and Suki are already dressed and having some severe difficulties moving my arms and legs through the sleeves of my jacket. Oh my gosh, so she actually legitimately half-dressed. Normally they don't, I mean, I guess they just got to throw it together, but still. Are you alright, Nekohime? I'm fine. I try to pull on one of my stockings, balancing precariously on one leg, but I can't keep my balance. Everything feels horribly off. My vision's distorting and the room's spinning around me. I reach out trying to grab hold of something, for support, and ooh. look at freaking Clover's face. She's like, oh, you're so cute. I ended up on the floor, sprawled on top of Clover. My fingers are gripping Clover's breasts. My legs, meanwhile, are looped through Clover's, effectively pinning her to the ground. I was able to put on my vest and my jacket, but I hadn't gotten around to my skirt yet. My behind sticks up in the air, clad only with a pair of panties. One of my legs is bare, while the other has a black stocking half up to the knee, loose and rumpled around the foot. My face is burning, but it's not like I'm embarrassed. Or it's not because I'm embarrassed, at least not entirely. I just don't feel very well. Not even the softness of Clover's yielding body could alleviate this accursed dizziness. I sure hope I won't throw up. And here I was, thinking you were alright. What a bad liar you are. You're burning up, Nekohime. You feel hotter than a furnace. I think you might got a fever. It's alright. I'm fine. I can still go to the convention center. I stagger to my feet, feel uneasy, and pull on my skirt, and then try to tackle my stockings. But this fiddy movement proves too much for my deprecated hand-eye coordination. I stumble like a drunkard and fall down for a second time. I probably smacked my head against the carpet with an undignified thump if Clover wasn't there to steady me. Easy now. Clover guides me back to the bed and sits me down, and I pout. You don't need to talk to me like that. Like what? Like I'm a little kid. I might be sick, but I'm still a person, you know. So you admit you're sick? No, I just feel a bit lightheaded, but it's fine. I think I'll just eat something sweet, and I can come to the convention center with you and Suki, no problem. Like hell you can. Clover plants her hands on my hips and scowls at me. You need to stay in bed today, Missy. I'm not letting you stagger to the convention center in this state. You'll hurt yourself. But you need me. I have to help sell Miko Maid too. That's why I came all this way out here. I don't want to be, I don't want it to have been for nothing. You're working hard, so I need to work hard too. You already worked hard, silly. I know how anxious you get around large crowds of people. Manning our table at Manga Market yesterday must have been hard for you, but you still gave it your best shot. I'm really happy you've been helping, but I don't want you pushing yourself. Clover's right. You've already done plenty for us this weekend. It's the last day of Manga Market today, and we've already sold most of our stock. We shouldn't need too much extra help, so you could take the day off. But the video... What about that silly old video? My spiral video on MyTube continued to garner views last night, albeit at a slightly slower pace than it did during the day. It was sitting at a comfortable 4.5 million views before I went to bed, but now it's at 6.8 million. Word about Miko Maid has spread far and wide over the internet. Our table will be swamped. We might not have many copies of Miko Maid 2 left to sell, but thousands of people will flock to the table to see us. It'll be a lot for Suki and Clover to deal with on their own, though they try to look brave. I need to be there too. I want to help them. I gotta do my best, but My legs buckle beneath the weight of my body and I fall to the ground once more. Clover stands over me, sighing, and shakes her head. This is no good. Just look at yourself, Nekohime. You're exhausted. Now, get to bed this instant. I won't take no for an answer. Clover helps me beneath the covers, and I found myself powerless to disobey. The sheets feel nice and cool against my flushed skin, and I sigh. The mattress is so cozy, and the pillows are so soft. Now that I'm lying down again, I don't want to get out of bed. But that's no good. I want to help. It'd be wrong for me to sit here and like a sack of potatoes, but... Night-night, Nekohime. Take care of yourself. Clover runs her fingers through my messy hair and gently presses a kiss against my forehead. I'll be back soon. If you're hungry, there's food left in the fridge. Call us if anything happens, okay? And if you feel better, you can come to the convention center, but don't push it, all right? You need to relax. You deserve it. But I try to protest feebly, but Clover simply smiles and pats my head. It'll be all right, silly Nekohime. Now get some sleep. And so I do. Comforted by Clover's soft touch and her soothing, gentle voice, I close my eyes, lashes matting together, and sleep finally consumes me. When I awake, it's around midday. The sunlight steams in through the hotel windows, illuminating my face. It gets into my eyes, penetrating my eyelids, and I whimper, turning my head away. I slept for a few hours, but I still feel groggy. At least my head isn't aching as much as it did this morning. I don't think I have a temperature anymore, and my body doesn't feel weak and weary. Have I recovered already? Maybe I wasn't truly sick. I was probably run down because of stress. Now I've got some rest, I feel fine. I'm glad I've gotten better so quickly, but that almost makes me feel worse about this whole thing. Clover and Suki are working hard at the manga market, while I've been curled up in bed like a sleepy cat. I'm the worst, right? I get to my feet and slap my cheeks with both my palms, hoping to put some color on my face. I can't afford to lounge around here for much longer. Now I've had my cat nap. It's time to head out. There'll be no more distraction or decors. My stomach does feel a bit empty though. It rumbles and I blush, resting my fingers against my traitorous tummy. Well, maybe I could stop by a restaurant or something first. I'm in the mood for some pancakes. After eating a quick breakfast, though since it's midday, I guess lunch would be more appropriate, I make my way to the convention center. It's another scorching summer day, and I feel myself wilting with every single step. The oppressive heat makes my clothes stick to my body, and it saps me of my strength. My hair is gonna lose all of its volume at this rate. At least you have volume. Mine's freaking thin as heck. Lucky freaking duck. I don't care if it's more work. I'm much better. Does that say Isekai Net? Isekai Net. It's Isekai Net, guys. Hostel? Oh god, it's a host. Wait, a host. Oh Jesus, that's creepy. Then you got ramen. And then you got Julia TV. Interesting. And then the manga internet cafe. Interesting. Isekai Net. That's a thing, apparently. In here. And then there's Midori, just Midori. Or an idol agency. Oh man. Maybe I should have stayed in the hotel, at least it's air conditioned. But no, I can't complain. Suki and Clover are holding down the fort without me, but it's not fair that I expect them to do all the work. I've got to hurry. I pick up my pace accordingly, trying to ignore the heat. I turn the corner and then... Oh. I blink perturbed. On my way to the convention center, I stumbled across a familiar landmark. This was the park I went to last night. Unlike last night, however, it isn't deserted. There are a few elderly men and women walking their dogs around the fountain. A small boy is busy trying to climb a tree and retrieve a lost frisbee. A couple of college-age girls are lying in the grass in bikinis getting at a park? Yo, go to the beach or a pool or something. A park? What? Is that normal in Japan? Do people just lay it down in a park getting tan in bikinis? Like, they don't go to a pool for that or something? And there's a lovey-dovey couple sitting on one of the benches beneath the trees sharing an ice cream cone. How cute. Not. Wait, what? It's at least somewhat cute. Aw, man. I mean, it's not two girls, but... I'm not in the best of moods, and I'd rather not see people enjoying the warm weather when I have a musty convention hall to be in. I turn ready to walk through the gate, but... Something stops me. There's a girl sitting in the shade of a sycamore tree, her head bowed as she examines her phone. I know her. She looks shockingly familiar. She's now something of a celebrity, I suppose. A video starring her has managed to gross over 6 million views on MyTube in less than a day. It's Kurumi. Now, I wonder what she's doing out here. Part of me wants to know if she's alright, but another part of me wants to give her as wide a berth as possible. Fortunately, I don't think she's seen me yet. I don't know what she's looking at on her phone. Maybe the MyTube video that's propelled her to fame, but she seems pretty engrossed in it. Oh, what did it... like, no way, I don't believe it. This is so embarrassing. I have no reason to live anymore. I might as well drown myself and get it done with. God, she sounds like waking up in the morning. Gosh, I can't deal with it. So engrossed, in fact, her shoulders are shaking. I think she might be crying. A few of the dog walkers give Kurumi surprised looks, and the lovey-dovey couple stops their flirting to glance at her. Kurumi glares at them all, her brow furrowed. What are you looking at? Isn't girl allowed to be depressed in public without being stared at like a circus freak? I swear, some people, you're all jerks. Kurumi tries to sound tough, but her voice is strained. She sniffs and tears begin to streak down her cheeks. It's not fair. Now I look like a huge moron, and millions of people have seen my underwear. I might, really die. Kurumi gets to her feet, and I think she means to run away, but I won't let her, not so quickly. She might have said some horrible things about me yesterday, but I feel sorry for her all the same. I want to try and cheer her up. That's exactly what I'll do. Hey, wait. Huh? Kurumi takes a double take. She whirls around, her hair fluttering, and... What? You're that girl from Manga Market yesterday. You're one of the girls who made Miko Maid. That's right. That's me, but, I look at the park shyly. It feels like everyone's staring at us, from the boy climbing the tree to the sunbathing college girls. I'm not a show-off, really. In fact, I hate being the center of attention. Having all these eyes focused upon me is something of a nightmare. Why do we keep drawing so much attention lately? There really is no justice in the world. Why don't we go and sit down somewhere a little quieter? I'd like to talk to you in private if I can. So you come to laugh at me while I'm at my lowest, huh? Oh, that's fucking... So like you've come to laugh at me while I'm at my lowest, huh? I see how it is. I hurt your precious feelings yesterday, and now you're out for revenge. How pathetic can you be? No, that isn't it. I don't want revenge. I just want to talk. And why do you want to talk with me, huh? I said so many awful things to you. Only an idiot would take all that abuse without flinching, then ask for a friendly conversation. So you realize you said awful things. I thought you were just tactless, but... Oh, never mind. That's not important now. I can tell that you're in pain. I want to help you. I don't dislike you, but I'd like to know the reason why you seem to hate us so much. If I've done something to upset you, please tell me. That's the only way we'll be able to understand each other. I don't want to understand you. The sight of you makes me feel sick. I wince and I back down now. I've come this far already. It would be a shame if I lost heart. I want to talk to Kurumi, so even if you don't want to understand me, I want to understand you. I'm going to try my hardest to make her accept me. I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I think you could use a shoulder to cry on right now. You don't need to worry about me mocking you or judging you. That would be too hypocritical of me. After all, I'm much, much more pathetic than you are. After my heart... Wait. No. Okay, it just goes straight to that. Okay, that was a quick change. After my heartfelt speech, the two of us end up at a small cafe where I ordered my pancakes only 10 minutes prior. Kurumi and I sit at a small circular table near the back of the building. There aren't many people here, so it's actually pretty pleasant. The air conditioner, wait, no, that's not the Pascon. It's not AC. Aircon? Is it aircon? I remember we talked about this in Japanese class. That's why it's shortened to aircon, I think. It's on a full blast and the faint hum rattles throughout the restaurant. The chill air grants me a reprieve from the blistering sunlight, and I can't help but sigh as I lean back in my chair. Soft string music is being played over the speakers. I can't name the piece, but it sounds vaguely classical. The tables are draped with pure white cloths, and the vases of the flowers... None of these tables have cloths on them. They're all freaking not clothed. Arranged neatly in the center of the tables. A faint smell of vanilla lingers in the air, mingled with the aroma of freshly cut flowers. This is really nice, relaxing cafe. I hope the atmosphere is helping Kurumi out. She ordered an ice cream sundae from one of the waitresses, but she didn't look very happy about it. Now she's waiting for her food in a stony silence, her eyes fixated moodily on the windows. She didn't glance at me. It's almost like she's trying to pretend I don't exist. So far, our talk has been complete and utter failure. How do I get her to open up to me? Maybe if I ask a simple question. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong, she says. Kurumi rolls her eyes extravagantly. Of course there's something wrong. That embarrassing video that was posted all over the internet, it got millions of views now. Everyone's seen me fall over, and they've seen my my Kurumi bites her lower lip and her face burns. And to make it even worse, most people sided with the hag. They said that I was being unfair and unnecessarily confrontational, and I deserved everything I got. Those people, they said so many awful things about me in the comments, and they don't even know me. They never even spoken to me. God, the irony. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you have to be this is exactly why I'm not really that big of a fan of Kurumi's character. I think you're supposed to, feel I think you're supposed to hate her and then feel bad for her and then kind of, try and make her fall in love with you so that way she, isn't so much of a bitch. But the problem is, I feel like you've got to be pretty dang stupid to realize that you did the exact same thing to those people as they're doing to you. So it's I feel like you've got to be pretty dumb not to realize the kind of situation that you're in with that. But what gives them the right to assume that they know anything about me based on a 3-minute video clip taken out of context? It just isn't fair. Kurumi slams her fist against the table. A cup of green tea rattles, and I have to reach out with my hand to steady it. Geez, this sucks. I never did anything to deserve this. I mean, you did throw a temper tantrum in the middle of a convention hall, get your ass kicked. It's just makes sense. Well, maybe you didn't. I traced my index finger around the rim of my teacup thoughtfully. But neither did I, or any of my friends. What do you mean? You accused us of all sorts of things, though you'd never met us before. You said we were lazy and we didn't care about our projects, but you have no way of knowing that. You told yourself we deserved your scorn, and so you could feel justified in hating us. Isn't that the same as all the ruled comments on my tube video? The same, huh? Rory slumps down in her chair, defeated in sighs. You might have a point. I guess I was so wrapped up in my jealousy that I wasn't thinking straight. I leaned forward in my chair, surveying Kurumi curiously. You were jealous of us? Yeah, that's right. You don't need to rub it in. I wasn't trying to. I was just curious. If you don't mind me asking, then why are you jealous of us? Geez, that's a tough question. I, don't even know where to begin. Kurumi looks out of the window thoughtfully, her eyes cloudy and far away, and then she sighs. This is embarrassing, but if you really want to know my feelings, then I guess I gotta go back a bit to my first year of high school. Freaking the flashback thing. I was part of an after-school club that was devoted to making video games, or more specifically, visual novels. We were all students in high school, but some of my seniors were pretty talented. Risa was a good artist, and Kome was an amazing programmer. Being with them every day was a lot of fun. They taught me a lot. I'm really grateful for them for that. Risa showed me how to draw, and when I picked up some basic skills, she decided we should make a visual novel together. We worked really, really hard on it, and it was a visual novel set in steampunk London, but it had a lot of Eastern elements too. There was a crazy amount of world building went into it, and there was a whole bunch of characters. There were dramatic fight scenes, lots of CG, and a huge OST. Wow, that's fucking sick. Hey, I mean, even if it wasn't that good, that's pretty dope. I also I almost feel like I should take some of whoa. And I feel like I should go and play some of the lesser known visual novels out there that don't get a lot of attention and just play those, especially the lesbian ones, because there was even a battle system, though it was pretty primitive. In the end, the script was triple the length of the average novel, and it had a lot of choices and dozens of endings. That's sick. I love endings, several endings. I love several endings. It's so good. My seniors and I worked all worked hard on the story. We had homework to do, and we had to keep up with our studies. But whenever we had a spare moment, we'd meet up in the club room to work on our visual novel. It was our magnum opus. Or maybe you could say our baby. Risa and Kome were in their last year of high school, and they said they always wanted to finish a product that they could be proud of and then sell it to the public. I wanted to help them make their dreams come true before they graduated, so I pushed myself to the limit. I went for days without sleep and worked all weekend to finish up the art. And we gave that project our all for almost a year. When it was finally done, we were so happy. We thought the game was something special, and we were sure other people would like it too. We tried to get a table at Manga Market, but we were rejected. We were too young, and we were unknown. Nobody would give our table an amateur circle like ours. That didn't deter us, though. We eventually got a smaller local anime convention. Whoops. We were sure that when word of mouth got around that we'd become popular, but Kurumi grits her teeth together. I don't need to be a psychic to know where the story of useful zeal is headed. It's a foregone conclusion. We worked so hard. We slaved for almost a year on the story, but no one seemed to care. We sold a few physical copies of our visual novel, then we sat at our table in that convention for 10 hours. We felt crushed. We didn't want to let one setback stop us. We finished that game after all, and we were sure there were people out there who'd be interested. Komi put the game up for a digital download on our personal website and tried to get word out. We sold a few more copies after that, but though the reviews were mostly positive, we barely sold 100 copies of our precious... You sold 100 of them, though! I know, like, you slaved over a year, and it sucks that it's not, like, popular, but you sold 100 copies as, like, a... That's not bad! You guys are a bunch of high school students, like, working on a visual novel, and you sold 100 copies? Like, that is freaking good. Honestly. You're like, visual novels aren't, like, insanely popular. Like, I mean, I love visual novels, but still, like, there were a few people who bothered to leave comments to say the story was good, but it needed more romance. And there wasn't enough fan service. Can you believe it? Oh my god. That would make me cringe. There's not enough fan service. I would slap you across the face if you said that about anything. Unless you're like, there's not enough fan service in this porn magazine, then it's just like not even porn, is it? But never, ever, ever criticize a work because they don't sexualize their characters enough. Fuck you for even thinking that. God, that makes me so upset. I mean, it needed more romance. If it's not a romance novel, then what does it matter? Like, if you wanted romance, then buy a romance novel. Like, we slaved away on that visual novel for ages, but it got overlooked because there wasn't enough porn. The general public refused to recognize our efforts. Ugh. God, that's disgusting. That's disgusting that people exist like that. We don't like your visual novel because it doesn't have enough porn in it? Then go read porn! Sorry. That just bugs me so bad. Okay. My seniors spent countless hours working on that story when they should have been studying for their exams. They worked so hard because they knew it was their final chance for us to make something together. I wanted to thank them for helping me, but and being there for me, but how could I look them in the eye knowing our project had been a failure? How could I be happy after that? I tried so hard, it got so far, but in the end, like, it didn't even matter. But that's a load of people who try hard are supposed to succeed, but that's bullshit. Yeah, it actually is bullshit. Like, some people just can't. Sometimes the luck is not on their side, and sometimes other people just end up doing better. I don't know. Now, I know this isn't people who... now I know it isn't people who try to succeed. It's people who play the market. We were fools for working so hard. We should have made a cheap porn game right from the start, and that's what people really want. Even the big, well-funded visual novel companies stick sex scenes in all of their stories because sex sells. Hard work and passion doesn't, and it pisses me off. This world is so messed up, and I can't stand it. Man! You fucking tell him, Kurumi. I might not like you that much, but I will say that she just spit straight facts. She spit straight facts. Like, a lot of people are all up in the Sakura series. They want to see all the sex scenes and the raunchy shit, and they don't really recognize, like, the good, solid storytelling that comes from, like, I don't know, I feel like visual novels are such an underrated platform because you see all these manga all the time that have really good, hard, deep, romantic, hard-fought battles and romance and, deep, moving stories like Bloom Into You, for example, or, whatever it might be. You see all this stuff in manga, which this is legitimately like a manga where you can make choices to get different endings, which I think is one of the best parts of a visual novel, by the way. I'm not as much of a fan of visual novels that don't have multiple endings, but I still like them because, I mean, you put time and effort into it for sure, and that's fantastic. But on top of that, something that visual novels give is the visual aspect. And a lot of the time it's in color too, which is really nice because the concentration can pop and really make things interesting. And you could do a lot with visual novels. And I think a lot of people saw that with Doki Doki Literature Club, because like Doki Doki Literature Club is a straight up visual novel. It's just like any other visual novel, except it's got that horror element to it. There are other ones with horror elements in it. For instance, that freaking one with the aquarium where a bunch of shit happens and people die and all that shit. But like, I don't know, I feel like there's visual novels that are either super like horror oriented or super like sexually oriented, and the ones in the middle just get kind of overlooked. Danganronpa's amazing. It's one of my all-time favorites, but it's kind of bloody, and I mean, it has an amazing storyline. But it's like Danganronpa, like you get Doki Doki Literature Club, you get like that freaking stupid aquarium one. A lot of it is like on either side. You've got ones like Steins Gate, which is an amazing visual novel that you can totally play if you guys haven't played it already. But that one's a really good story-based driven one, and I really like those. Like Fatal 12 that I played was really underrated in my opinion. I think Fatal 12 is a really, really solid visual novel. It had a really compelling story and was really fantastic in my opinion. And I think I really enjoy those. And if you want to see like another amazing story, I've got a suggestion. It is called The Blood Red series Beginning, written by Abigail Lang. I might not be technically advanced, but I do have a nice 140,000 word novel that is written that you can get on Amazon.com. The link will be in the description if I remember correctly. And I would highly recommend checking this out if you guys would like a really good plot-driven narrative with amazing characters and absolutely terrific everything. So highly recommend checking that out. But anyway, I just think that good story driven with amazing characters, like character and plot driven narratives, are just kind of underrated in the visual novel scene because porn, I guess, which I can't stand. But I mean, cute girls doing cute things is amazing, but I don't know. Maybe just because I'm not sexual like other people are, but I don't know. Kurumi's face is flushed bright red. Her eyes are staring with large pearly tears as they slowly trickle down her cheeks. Now that I think I finally understand why she attacked us yesterday. She doesn't just hate Miko Maid, though based on her tastes, I doubt she enjoyed it much. She just hates what Miko Maid represents. She hates that she couldn't find success with her friends while we could, and she hates the general consumers refuse to reward those who take risks. Kurumi is carrying a lot of heavy emotional baggage from her high school days, and I don't think it's ever going to go away, not if she clings to grudges like this. She isn't making herself happy by attacking other people. In fact, it's the opposite. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The consumer market is just brutal. It's a brutal place. It's just absolutely brutal, and sometimes you just got to deal with it. It sucks ass, and I hate it just as much as anybody else, but sometimes the consumer market just is what it is, and you just got to accept it. Like, Kurumi. I reach out my hand, but she jerks away, her eyes wide. Don't touch me. I'm sorry, I didn't want to upset you, but I understand how you feel. Really? I very much doubt that. Miko Maid was popular. It was successful. You did well while my hard work was completely ignored. I know I put way more effort into my visual novel than you did in yours. So why did people like your story more? It doesn't make any sense. Kurumi's voice gets louder and louder, drawing the eyes of everybody in the cafe. Now we were stared at by dozens of people. Kurumi was having a breakdown just like she did at the manga market yesterday. It's because she can't let go of the past. Those seeds of resentment have planted deep in her heart, and she's never once tried to pull them out. Instead, she's been nurturing them. But I can't let her keep doing this. I don't want her to hurt herself over something as fickle as fame. Well, whatever. I was stupid to confess all this to you. I doubt you'll be able to help. I'm leaving. Kurumi, wait. Kurumi rises from the table, but I'm too quick for her. Yes! You get it! Yo, she's going on the offensive. Yeah! You get her. You get her. I pin her to the wall before she can retreat, my hand pressing against the wall, arm raised over her head. Kurumi glares at me, her eyes narrowed. Please, let me leave. No, I won't. Not until you say something in return. My heart is hammering madly in my chest. All of a sudden, it feels hard to breathe. This isn't like me. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like getting involved in arguments. But Kurumi's in so much pain that I can't let her walk away, and I need to help her. And that's why I won't let her go, even if it makes her hate me. I just want her to know. I do understand how you feel. You might not believe me, but it's true. You and I... Oh my god. You and I, we're not all that dissimilar. Like, what do you mean? You're in pain because you're jealous that others succeeded where you failed, and I can understand that. Everyone gets jealous from time to time. I'm no exception. When I was in high school, I was horribly jealous of all of my classmates. I was shy and awkward, and I didn't have any friends, and I wanted to talk to people, but whenever I tried, I just froze up. Like I said in the last few episodes, she's my spirit animal, though she is being on the offensive, which makes her like 10 times better than me already. I don't know if I could do it. The only friends I had were on the other side of a computer screen. That's how I met Clover. If it weren't for her, I'd probably be alone by now. It's shameful to admit it, but when I ate my lunch alone on the rooftop, I used to curse all my other classmates. They made getting along with other people seem so easy. They always laughed and smiled, as though they didn't have any cares in the world. Sometimes I wondered if there was something fundamentally wrong with me. Was I broken? Maybe I wasn't even a human being. But as time passed, I began to see it another way. Eventually, I started to blame other people for my inability to make friends, and that my loneliness was easier to bear. But it didn't help my problem. In fact, I became even more isolated. I became bitter, angry, and cynical. In the end, I started to hate myself. If I had not moved in with Clover when I did, I think my own insecurities might have destroyed me, just like your hatred is destroying you. I like see, I guess. Kurumi looks at me, blinking slowly. She seems rather docile like she did before. At least, she doesn't try and push me away, and neither does she shout at me. In the lieu of anger, I can see something more disturbing in her eyes. Now she looks empty. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're not like all that different after all, but what am I supposed to do now? I worked hard on that game, and so did all my seniors. We all wanted it to be a success. We did everything we could, but it wasn't good enough. Why didn't people like it? Why didn't we sell more copies? Why did everyone ignore us? I'm sorry, but I don't have any answers for you. In the end, rotten though it sounds, I think success comes down to what the general public wants. It's true. It's the audience that decides which games will be popular, not the creators. All we can do is create and hope that people will like it, but we can't expect anything. The average customer will have no idea how much effort a creator put into their passion and project, and even if they did, they have no obligation to care. The creators and consumers are strangers after all. Kurumi glances down at her shoes silently, her eyes half-lidded. It, stings, but you're right. I know you're right. Attacking you guys yesterday was a huge waste of time. Dragging you guys down with me won't reverse the huge failure my first project was. I can't turn back time. It's too late to help Risa and Kume now. We worked hard, but our story was a failure, and that's all there is to it. You think it was a failure? I frown. Maybe it wasn't a commercial sense, but did Risa and Kome feel like that? Of course they did. They always dreamed of publishing a visual novel. And you did that, didn't you? You worked on a project together and you saw it through to the very end. That's not something most people can say. Your story was an accomplishment, whether it or not it achieved commercial success, and I'm sure your seniors were happy in the end. They never said they were making a visual novel so they can make money, did they? Well, no, I guess not. Risa and Kome always said they loved hanging out together. They told me I shouldn't worry too much when we failed to sell that many copies, but you felt like you betrayed them. Yeah, that's right. I wanted our project to do well for their sake. I wanted them to be happy. That was very kind of you, but I think the exceptions you placed on yourself were unfair. If Kome and Risa are anything like Suki and Clover, then they would have been happy to simply spend time with you. When we started making Miko Maid, we didn't do it because we wanted to be rich. We wanted to have fun. Making a game had been one of my dreams for a long time, and while a visual novel wasn't what I had in mind, it was still fun to create. I felt very lucky I could have make a story with my two friends, and even if it hadn't sold, I would have considered my time well spent. I'm sure Kome and Risa feel the same way about you, Kurumi. Well, that's what they told me, yeah, but they said I shouldn't worry, but She blinks at me, her eyes tearful. She sniffles and her shoulders trembling. Oh, give her a hug. I felt ashamed and embarrassed. I, couldn't look at my seniors without thinking I was a failure. We used to be good friends, but in the end I felt so ashamed and guilty I turned my back on them. I ruined our friendship, and I ruined everything, all because of my rotten feelings of inadequacy. I really am a terrible friend. That's it? That was a quick change. After confronting Kurumi, the two of us exited the cafe. She was crying. Could you have at least summed it up like I hugged her and let her cry it out and then we left or something? I think they could have added a little bit something there to make it a little bit less, really weird that they just kind of left, but okay. Kurumi's sundae hadn't arrived yet, but the patrons of the cafe are all giving us curious looks. I'd rather not sit there and endure their icy stares. We walked down the street, our footsteps echoing companionably against the sidewalk. Wait a second. Hold up, just 1 second. So you guys went into a cafe, ordered something, and then just left. They were probably in the middle of making that for you, and you just up and leave? The poor people doing their job. I mean, I guess they get to eat it now, but that's a waste of company money and time and effort. My goodness. We walked down the street. Okay. Eventually, we find ourselves at the small park where we first met. Wait, what? Oh, I guess today. I'm like, you guys first met at the convention center. Oh, okay. Kurumi sits down on the bench beneath a tall sycamore tree, and I sit down beside her. She looks at her shoes thoughtfully, but every once in a while, she lifts her head, our eyes meet, and she glances to one side, her face pink. A gentle wind caresses my cheek and frets the ends of my silvery hair. The water in the fountain ripples. In the distance, she's totally falling in love. She's probably... I feel like, after that whole emotional situation, she's got to have at least some interest now, right? I feel like, just based on how these stories go and whatnot, she's probably like, man, that was really cool of her. She's so cool. And I mean, she's right. She is so cool. She's 10 times better than I am. In the distance, a dog barks and the young boy laughs and a girl tangles her feet up in the skipping rope. Kurumi looks at me frowning. Hey, Nekohime. Yeah, what is it? Well, I just wanted to thank you, I guess. What are you thanking me for exactly? I hate that. Oh, I don't know, all sorts of things, really. For not being pissed at me after all those rude things I said yesterday, and for comforting me when I felt down. You, made me feel a lot better, though you didn't need to. I guess you're a pretty nice person after all. Alright. Well, one of us has to be mature. Should I be a bitch? No. Okay. No, really, I just wanted to help. When I saw how upset you were, I knew I just couldn't leave you alone. I would have felt awful. So you pity me? I don't know if that makes me feel any better, but I guess I should have shown a pretty pitiful side of myself to you, huh? Kurumi sniffles and wipes her eyes with the back of her arm. My eyes are still stinging. Kurumi isn't crying anymore, but her eyes are red and puffy from her breakdown in the cafe. If I was a mentally adjusted person myself, maybe I'd look down on Kurumi for her blowout at public, as I'm sure a lot of people in the cafe did, but as a person who's often beset with anxiety and self-doubt, I can understand how she feels. Sometimes it's hard to keep our emotions buried. The harder we try and quash them, the more they pile up in our hearts, until the dam bursts and we break. Crying might be embarrassing, but it can help. It's alright, you don't need to be embarrassed. I've cried a lot in my time, too. I think we might be quite similar, you and I. Well, thanks. I'm glad I'm not totally alone. You're a nice person, but... Kurumi stabs a finger in my direction. Since we were sitting next to one another on a bench, she almost takes my eye out. This doesn't mean I like your stories, okay? I still think fan service visual novels are cheap, especially when it comes to CG, shows bared boobs and butts for no reason. It's hard for the readers to become emotionally invested in characters if they only see them as slabs of meat, and it ruins emotional stakes of the story if girls are tripping up on inexplicably slowing their panties. It just doesn't feel realistic. The freaking... They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. I mean, look at how she's dressed. the CG going into bare boobs, even though, like, I barely have my freaking, she probably doesn't have a bra on. There's no way her bra is that small. And if she does, then it's not doing a very good job at what it's supposed to do. And then she has a tank top on and it looks like it's about to freaking fall off her boobs any minute. And you're telling me, with how you dress. Anyway, I know that it's kind of on purpose, but still. The fan service and Miko made it feel totally disconnected from reality. It's like the characters exist only to pander to the audience instead of fulfilling their own roles. You put a lot of thought into Miko Maid, haven't you? Well, yeah, but it's not because I like it or anything. It's the total opposite. Miko Maid was popular, and I wanted to study and see why it succeeded where I failed. And you were disappointed. Immeasurably. The more I tried to analyze it, the more irritated I got. But can you blame me? You might be the writer, but even you have to admit the plot's flimsy and there are way too much sex. Well, maybe. But there's nothing wrong with stories that have sex in them. I used to be a bit of a prude myself, and I wasn't really interested in porn. I thought it was a waste of time, but that doesn't mean other people can't enjoy it. There's nothing shameful about liking fan service or porn. I mean, there's not. It's just talking about it openly in the public forum is a little intense, don't you think? Don't look at me like that. Well, maybe. Kurumi folds one leg over the other. She still doesn't look convinced, but at least she doesn't look as irritated as she did before. Have I managed to reach her? I don't think I'll ever be able to fully convince Kurumi that lewd stories can have merits, but maybe it's fine. We all have our own tastes. I mean, I'm not saying there's not good porn in terms of plot that just happen to have, like, sex scenes in them that are, you know, still pornographic. Like, there's a difference between a good story that, like, says, oh, these people have sex and then skips over it versus a porn story where they, like, actually show and tell about the people having sex, but it's in the middle of a larger story. Those ones aren't that bad. I've read quite a few lesbian visual novels that have legitimately just straight up sex scenes. Like, it's usually in surprisingly a lot of South Korean manga, but in Korea, for whatever reason, at least it seems this way, lesbian visual novel or web comics seem to be on the rise. But it's a shame a large chunk of the visual novel audience doesn't share Kurumi's, but it is what it is. Well, I do wonder how you became popular so fast, though. I just don't get it. Don't worry about it too much, I doubt it'll last. Miko Maid was successful, and it looks like the sequel will be too, but we can't keep churning out similar stories. It might be a popular formula for now, but people will get tired eventually. Our audience aren't our friends, they're consumers, and when they lose interest in our product, they'll take their business elsewhere. They're not obligated to keep supporting us. We're doing well for now, but it won't last, nothing does. You're probably right about that. You're more pragmatic than I thought. I must say, I don't hate it. In a way, it's impressive that you can keep going, knowing that it'll all come crashing down at some point. If I'd have known my first project would flop, would I have been able to keep at it? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm as resilient as you, but I'd like to learn how. I might even look up to you just a little, so... But don't take it the wrong way, Baka. Kurumi takes my hand in her own, suddenly excited. Won't you let me help you out? I know you've still got a few copies of Miko Maid 2 to sell, and I bet your table will be busy. You'll need all the hands you can get. Why don't you let me tag along? What? Are you serious about this? As serious as I've ever been. I want to spend more time with you, and I want to learn how to be cool like you. From now on, you'll be my teacher, so please educate me properly, Miss Nekohime. Nekohime-sensei. That's how I ended up back at Manga Market, Kurumi in tow. That was a little bit of an extreme change, but that's about all the time I have for this episode, so make sure you guys hit that like button down below for me because you already know your support's greatly appreciated, as well as leaving a comment letting me know what your thoughts are on the series thus far. Let me know, what do you guys think of Kurumi's character? Like, I think it's very interesting. I'm not really sure if I like or dislike her yet. She's just kind of there, and she's cute. She does have a cute side, but she's also that hardcore tsundere kind of vibe, but also not. It's very interesting. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and make sure you, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're on the road to 200 subs. We are on the road to 200 subs, so hopefully we can hit that by the end of the year. That would be super amazing if you guys could do that for me. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, bye.